It's going to be about portraiture, okay? We're going to do some portrait drawing. And so for this week, we're gonna take one particular approach, and this is what I'm gonna explain in this video here. So, if I were to try to draw this, right, and this was just in Photoshop, and I did the lines right on top of this here. This is what my drawing looks like, right? So that's one way of doing a drawing. You would draw the eyes and the nose and the mouth, and you put the cheeks in and the eyebrows, and there you go. But what we're going to be doing this week is taking an approach more like this, where we're looking at these certain structural shapes and talking about why we're looking for those shapes and what they are, just to get more of the structure. Okay. And this is just the very beginning of the drawing, and we're going to be able to build off of this. Okay. So this has more potential for us to go forward than this sort of like locks it down. And it's not about this is bad and this is good, but we're just going to take this approach. This week. Okay. So this all goes back to this approaching portraiture as studying the basic form of the human head and thinking about the planes, right? And what plane is facing front, what's top, what are the side planes, and then what are these like underplane areas or areas that get tucked back? Because those underplane areas, unless you're shining light up into them, they tend to be areas where things get a little darker, and that's how you can create the form. So you can see there's an underplane of your nose, but there's a side plane and a front plane. And obviously, your nose is much more complicated than this, right? Here's the basic side, top, front, with no features on the face, broken down a little more intricately than up here, right? You can see, so breaking down these planes instead of just these few. Obviously, there's a little more structure of the eye in there too, but you can see where it goes. And then it could get even more complicated here. So this is sort of known as like working super basic in general to more specific and even more specific. And then you don't even have any details on there yet, right? So what we're going to be looking at, I want you to have an understanding of the planes of the face. And I'm going to walk you through ways of sketching things out, like you saw, of looking for these certain shapes that tend to be a little darker. And they're like what I call these like stretched M's of your upper lip. Your upper lip tends to be a little darker. It slants back a little bit, and it also has like dark pigment in it. And obviously, the underplane of your nose tends to be darker because it's underneath. You obviously have nostril holes in there, but they're not even in here. And that also ends up, I'm going to show you how you can look for this sort of like stretched M shape in here. Your bottom lip is like a cylinder in the center, and it's usually a little full, and you can see how your bottom lip sticks out. And so there's like an underledge here, right? So it tends to be a little darker underneath here, right? So there's a little darkness underneath there. And then obviously you can see your eye socket area here has it slants. Obviously, there's no eye and everything inside there, and there's a lot more stuff complicated, and there's a little eyeball bulges that comes out. But the basic structure, you can see this recesses in. You have like an eye socket. Everybody has the same skull, so we all have these same basic features, and then we each are our own unique snowflake, and it's the sort of angle and thickness and thinness of all these features, how they come together that make you look the way that you look. Okay, so this is the approach. I'm going to go through a few